What it is, good people out there in YouTubian land, it is I, the Badwolf, also known as the Man in Black. So, what is this particular video about? I'm glad you asked. All right, so I've been getting numerous emails over the years on how to protect your children, okay, your offspring, really. So, that's what this video is going to be about. I'm going to give you all the best information I know off the top. Do with it as you see fit. Everything here is educational information. It's all my materials and videos. So, that being said, without further ado, let's get going. All right, so just backtracking for 1 second. One, the being that you and your significant other have created should be known as an offspring. Okay, your biological creation. Okay, your biological offspring. When using the term child or children, okay, notice there's a wren in there. Children, child wren. Okay, you are essentially saying that they are basically a sub corporation, and you're renting them. The wren, children, renting. Okay, same thing. Are you a parent? A pair of renters, parents. Okay, so there's a good book you guys can get your hands on that includes information on a lot of basic things on your private sector side, sometimes referred to as your sovereignty. And though I'm not affiliated with the person by any means, Title IV flag. I've had this book for years. I think it's got some updated versions for it now. Guy's kind of comical. Lots of good information to ponder. Always make sure that when you're reading things, you make sure the codes and everything are updated and whatnot and what forth. So this book will teach you how to have, which I've already made videos on years back, how to have what he refers to as ninja babies. Okay? Now, we know that the best way to have your child is usually going to be either at home or at a non-hospital midwife, coming in or whatever else type of scenario. The hospital gets paid to convert your child and your certificate of live birth, and if you can, keep the master document with the feet print on there. Sure, it's going to cost you a couple bucks. Add it to the bill. Sometimes they won't let you do that. Pay it, but get it. Okay? Especially if you're into this kind of stuff on my channel. It's worth it. Then they'll offer you the certificate of live birth, which is okay. It's the next best thing. But remember, if you see the word of, you're not getting a real one. So if it's a certificate of live birth, then you want the live birth document, the one with the baby feet print on there. From there, if you can't afford it, yes, certificate of live birth is okay. And then from there, they're going to offer you a birth certificate from the state of, okay, which as we know is a foreign entity to the private side or the private sector because they're a public entity. And they're going to convert with that document your child into the federalized state employee. Now, there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you want. And even if they are in there or you put them in there, you can change and reverse things later on. These people will definitely try to push you to getting that. They will say, oh, well, by law you have to. No, there is no law that says you have to register your property. What they'll say is if you are a U.S. citizen, which is by choice, you already have a state citizen side. You have a national side, which allows you to be here. You don't have to register anything. None of that is in constitutional law. They are private property. If you had to register your private property, then we wouldn't have the Constitution, we wouldn't have the Supreme Court, and we wouldn't be in America. So if they're telling you have to register anything, it's because they're taking you out of America and into the corporate foreign U.S., which there's not a problem with that if that's what you want to do, because there are benefits and privileges, and as always, it's education here is informational purposes only. Do what you see fit. So, how do you protect them? Well, you don't have to have a social security number, though there are benefits to having a social security number. Your retirement, and they save the money for you, blah, 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 blah. That's something of which you can do for yourself. Now, there are certain things where, you might need a social, so keep that in mind before making any rash decisions. But about 98% of everything else that you need that social for, you can do with an EIN. Okay, the only difference is that some benefits, and I don't know if you can apply for governmental privileges with an EIN. I don't know about that one. So that might be one of the things you might want to look into. Otherwise, getting a business started, whether taxable or non-taxable, you can create that company name, the company for the child with the child's name. Okay? And get the EIN and be able to operate, open up banks, get credit cards, all that good jazz. All right? Without going into the system. Now, the use of, first of all, let's back up a little bit. When you give your child a name, what you didn't realize is that the people around you, state, whatever else, are all slowly brainwashing you to put your child's name in a traditional format. That first name, middle initial, last name is a corporate trust format. Okay? Almost everything they do are going to be in threes. So keep in mind that, like I said many times in videos before, that is a legal format for a legal name. All right? So instead of, Bob P. Smith, your first name should be a compound name, Bob Paul. What they call the last name or surname, servant name, really is your nation, your tribe, your clan, your house of, your, whatever. So, Bob Paul being your first name, and then of the house Smith, of the Smith house, the Smith tribe, the tribe of Smith, the clan, the nation of Smith, Smith Nation. That is your given name in the private. Now, Bob P. Smith can be a given name. The only problem is that if you've given them your given name, they then either transduce it or convert it into the all caps name. Okay, transmutation, transmute, meaning to change it into something different. And if they change it into something different, they have inducted you in, and basically they have stolen your given name, and now it has been corrupted. Because now they're not going to recognize that all lowercase name as being a private name, even though legally it is. It's a different entity, even by the capitalizations. So once that's been done, that name has basically been tainted. Okay? So if you're going to do it your way, and let's say you've had the child, you sent your stuff off to the state to get the birth certificate and all their stuff, just know that that given name or that legal name, Bob P. Smith, has been tainted. All right? It has waived its rights under black law's definition of capitis dimitio maxima. But at the same time, you can start to develop your child's given name and private side, because the other name that was private sector is now tainted. So at the same time, Bob Paul of the House of Smith, start getting things created over there. Get your business EIN. Name, that EIN. You can get it as a taxable entity or a non-taxable entity. It's all in how you fill it out at the IRS website. Okay? Now, if you're at the hospital, like I said, they get paid from the state, government, whatever else to get you guys to get that birth certificate. You do have X amount of time to tell them that you are religious and that it takes a couple of days to come up with a name. Okay? So if they really want to force you, tell them, we're going to call this baby John Doe for right now. If you have to have one, otherwise we need X amount of time to come up with a name. Okay, then you go home and you take your sweet time and figure out what name you want to give the child and start applying for things. Okay? Now, at that same point in time, you can create your own Bible record of live birth. You can even use one of their forms, a DS-10. You can get one of mine from Black Site 32, or you can create your own from scratch, have all your witnesses there, take everybody to the notary, sign off on it, bam, make multiple copies. This is how it was done in the old days, all right? And then if you want, you don't have to apply for the birth certificate through the state. Go and get your Social Security card directly. Here's one of our originals. Make sure you have copies, okay? There you go. You can bypass that whole part. Now, from there, if you still decide, you can still prove residency, okay, by having mail and certain things delivered to the child's name. You've got your, homemade birth certificate. These are the things that they have to honor. Sometimes they will refer to these as original documents, okay? So, but yeah, you will see certain people in the staff get really angry that you don't want to take all of their provided things, because the person you're going to deal with is a low-level functionary, and they're just told, hey, you got to do this. State says this. Code says this. Yeah, for U.S. citizens, if you elect to be one, you have the right. They will bully you and punk you while you're in a moment of excitement, duress, confusion, drugged up, and whatever else. Okay? And most of you guys don't know your rights and freedoms. They don't even know them. So they get a nice pat on the top of the head. Their boss gets a gold watch at some point in time. Their boss makes a whole lot of money each time you get inducted into their foreign jurisdiction. Okay? Remember, at one point in time, they all asked us what? To prove residency. So I can live in this area as a state citizen and a national, indigenous to the ground, United States of America in the geographical context, without being a resident of their corporation, to make it sound pleasant and sweet. And now, there's not all necessarily, it's all bad, doom, and gloom. I'm just giving you information. What you do with it is up to you. So, we've covered all the basics. From there, as a child grows up, you will find that putting all of your child's information into a UCC1, if you have the birth certificate or even your own document or whatever you want to do, you can put all their stuff, the Social Security card, all that stuff, the number on the back, CUSIP number. If you do use a social, which I don't really recommend, but you can, you're going to want to X out at least 4 or 5 of the numbers in that string. Otherwise, they will probably deny you. Same thing if you get them a credit card or a debit card or a bank account, all that stuff. X out a majority of the numbers. If you do get the birth certificate at some point in time, you're going to want to authenticate it, because that removes it from their jurisdiction. They give you a document, say, here, use this document to open up things. Well, what you're really doing is you're putting all of your child's stuff into a state-created trust. It's a public trust. That's why they can go through your stuff. That's why they can probate it. So if you do that, your choice only, educational information, but authenticating it removes it from what's known as the Hague or federal jurisdiction, puts it into the land of the free, removes the power over it of that particular area. Doesn't mean you still can't use it, just means now that it's made free. Okay? So that's another thing that you can do. Another thing that you can do is put your child's stuff in a trust. When you create a trust that's not created by the state, and don't use your legal name, use either your given name that you've kept private for the most part, or use your last name, say Smith Family Trust. You can give it a number, code, or whatever you want, one, whatever. Just something unique and different. Put your family crest on there. Find out what your family flag is. Okay, put U.S.A. as the location of this particular trust. Once you do that, or you pick another country or your own nation or whatever you do, it is considered private. Private means foreign. Foreign means not in their jurisdiction for them to control. Okay? Any private deals, any private trusts are extremely hard to break into because they are just that, private and foreign. So put your child or your child's stuff, your assets, and whatever else into a private and foreign trust if you want to keep your stuff or move your stuff to the private sector. All right, as a private sector citizen or private sector national. I don't really care for the word citizen because that means to citize, to make you a part of the city-state. National, we're all together. So state citizen or national of the United States of America, probably going to be your best terms. It's what the law understands. So that's really it. Those are going to be the best ways right out of the chopping block to protect your child from the various services and things and child trafficking and whatever else that's going on and the various things that are out there. That's it. So if you'd be ever so kind, if you found this content educational and informational and or entertaining, whatever it is, because remember, everything in life is entertainment. Make sure you hit that bell, like, subscribe. We are almost at 50,000, so let's help the wolf get pushed over that. Then I'll leave you guys alone. And by that, I don't mean I'm going to stop making videos. I will be taking some breaks here and there just to rest and relax. Apparently, my blood pressure's been a little high because I've been working so hard at all this stuff for you guys, but I need to think about me too. So that being said, what I mean is that I will be not harassing you guys to get over a 50,000 mark. 50,000 is awesome. After that, it's whatever it is, and we're going to focus more on the business and the matters at hand. So that's it. So hit that bell, like, subscribe if you haven't, and you're watching this. It's a travesty because, in all honesty, there's about 100,000 people, 47,000 who have subscribed, and the rest have not. So, what the heck? And so unless you just like to keep an eye on me but not supporting, I get that, which means you're probably a troll or an agent or something like that. Either way, still appreciate you guys watching. All right, guys, that's it. Have a great day. The sun is finally out in the Midwest, so stay best dressed and take care of yourselves. Wolf will talk to you later.